And we are live with a 3-second delay. Woo! I could even hear myself delayed. That's even worse. Oh, man. How is everybody tonight? Welcome to Sport King News Podcast. My name is Scott. This is our Winds of Winter prediction stream. It is a stream of spring. And tonight we will be discussing the religions of Westeros, a little bit of their history, and what we think they might be doing in the next two books. We also are an unscripted podcast, as you could tell. So it will be free flowing and we might change directions at some point. You never know. With me tonight, we have Jayne. How are you tonight?
Hey guys, doing well. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. And next to me, Stig, first of his name.
Yeah, Lord of Dragonstone, Master of Ships, King of Westeros, Lord of Storms End, King of the Andals and the Rhoynar. And the First Man, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. All who deny that are my foes. Let no man claim ignorance as a defense. You'll bend the knee, or I'll destroy you.
You're getting better and better at that every time.
You're getting used to it.
You really are. You really are. I don't think I'm lagging as much right now because it seems like you guys are answering pretty quick.
You're doing good.
Look at that. It was not even a second there. That's freaking awesome. So let's start off with which one is your favorite religion of Westeros? You asked us that. Actually, Jayne, you asked which one would we follow?
Yeah.
So, right. So let me go over the religions of Westeros, and I'm only going over the main ones. There are additional ones, like the Three Sisters have Lord of the Skies and Lady of the Waves and stuff like that, which is kind of like the Drowned God. But first, they're the old gods. Okay. Those are mostly held within the north. They are the gods of the trees. The children of the forest actually were the first ones to pray to these gods. They are the weirwood trees where they carved faces in them and started worshiping them. After that, the first men came over, and after the pact was signed, they actually started also worshiping the old gods. That was a quick. We'll get into it probably a little bit more later. Mm-hmm. With the Andals, when the Andals invaded the Seven Kingdoms, they brought the Faith of the Seven. The Faith of the Seven is one God. A lot of people confuse that. It's one God with seven aspects of that God. And it closely resembles, if you want to find today's lore, religion. It is Christianity, Catholicism, I would say mostly. The old gods would be more like a Druid type of religion. Then you have the Drowned God. The Drowned God is worshipped in the Iron Islands. The Drowned God lives beneath the water. And his mortal enemy is the Storm God. So that is more of a Viking-ish, I would say. They take some aspects of that. Like when you die, you go to the Drowned God's halls. So I believe that's where that came from. R'hllor is the Lord of Light, the Heart of Fire, God of Flames and Shadows. Predominantly in Essos, it was new to Westeros after really Melisandre brought it over, and Stannis was a proponent of that.
Thoros,
so that's how that started moving through Westeros. They are in. Yeah, go ahead.
Thoros,
right? Did he really bring it over though? You know, he was supposed to bring it over, and he just went home. Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to convert Robert, but didn't work. And then...
What are you going to say?
You're lagging like 10 seconds behind now. Hello?
Hello.
Long lag. That is insane. Am I lagging still?
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to back out. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, no. Now you hear me. It's the second I go to a different page. This thing sucks. So I'll just say the last one. The last one is the Rhoynar. So They believe in the river goddess who will protect them. That was brought over to Dorne. All right, let's see. Yeah, Tommy, you're one to talk. Let's see. So I'm off of everything but this. Can you guys hear me clearly? Go.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
No delay. So Stig, what were you about to say about Robert? Because I was going to go there, but I was lagging. So please.
I was saying that Thoros of Myr was the first Red Priest in Westeros, as far as I know. He tried to convert Robert. Robert wouldn't have it. Thoros kind of buggered off and later started converting the Brotherhood without banners and stuff like that. So,
Right.
but Melisandre was the first successful one.
I would
because-
say that too.
because she has boobs.
And she takes off her clothes sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, yes.
That'll do it.
Right. And she actually
Were you spying on us, Davos?
she actually got a lord to follow her. And I think, what Thoros couldn't do, she did. So we're going to really quickly go into the chat and say hello. We have Michelle, Jolin, how you doing? Tommy, as always, the great guinea pig collective, doing his thing as the greatest mod out there. How are you, my friend? And then jumping in a little after, we saw Bear Nerd Fun. One of our great guests on Wednesday night, Miss Martin Muse, is in the house. And who else do we got? We have Tommy making fun of me.
Toxic Man Flu popped in, and V-Star
is here.
Yeah.
I didn't. All right. Toxic Man Flu, always good. 14 Barber. Great channel, great guy. So is Bear Nerd Fun. Please check those guys out. Drop your links. And who else do we have? Toxic Man Flu. Now I see you. Hail to you, my friend. So it is, again, we're going to be talking about the religions of Westeros tonight. So where should we start? Should we go in order pretty much? Start with the old gods?
Well, you had asked which ones we liked.
I did. Which one would you follow?
Yeah.
Where would you go, Jayne?
The old gods, absolutely.
I agree.
I love that, and I don't know why this is, but I love that the Starks are holding to tradition, basically, and the values of their ancestors. And the old gods seem very sort of spiritual, and I love the connection to nature,
right?
And the trees and the gardens that those who follow the old gods have in their homes,
right?
And I love the fact that there may be this mystical connection, not only between the people and their gods, but also between these vessels, I guess, if you will, of the trees themselves, and that connection between the things that connect all of the followers of these gods to one another.
Right.
So.
Right. I like that too, Ryan. You're an ass, dude. April 1st.
April 1st.
Yeah, exactly. If that's true, that is the biggest April Fool's Day thing ever.
Man,
he's not. No way. Brutal Morningwood, how are you? I hope everything's up and up with you, my friend. So I agree with you. But Stig, you go first. Where are you going?
No, I agree. We should talk about the old gods.
Really?
Well, which one would you follow?
Or which I would follow? Well,
yeah.
Take a wild guess.
I would say Lord of Light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Of course, because that's like Satan. That means I can be emo and dark and brooding and
it's like wear eyeliner.
Yeah.
A trench coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burning things is cool.
Have a lighter and melt stuff.
See, I would go old gods too. I even though I might think that it turns out that the old gods are the evil ones, I still there's a chance the children of the forest are all evil and so are the old gods. But if they're not, and even if they are, I still think they're dope. And it's exactly what you said. Also, there is a small chance you could be a warg.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like being able to jump into a direwolf would be dope.
That would be freaking epic.
Oh, cool. I'm switching to those.
There you go. Because don't forget, it's not just the Starks. I mean,
Right.
there are people we
The
meet
first
very,
men.
yeah, exactly. First men descent. The Starks got it into their bloodline because they defeated the Warg King. And when they defeated the Warg King, they put his sons to the sword and took their daughters to bed.
Right.
And that's pretty much how they got that ability. At least that's how I read it. But you have Varamir Sixskins north of the wall. He has it, and they let you know that it's not something that is, you know, not everyone has that ability, but it's not unknown above the
Right.
wall, you know? So
And
yeah, hell yeah.
you would expect that too. I mean, if this is an ability that came through the children of the forest, you would expect that to sort of been a part of their bloodline in that region. I mean, there's even a reason to believe that the Bear Islanders may have it too, thinking that they descend from a bear and all that.
Right. And you have the story from Giant's Bane, where he talks about like taking a bear, being mothered by a bear, sleeping with a bear. And it could be that they warg into bears and don't even know it. Kind of like the kids of the Stark who are dreaming, and when they dream, they warg.
Right.
Because as of right now, the only one that truly knows he wargs, I would say, is Bran, but I think Arya has a hint of it when she was blind. She realized she used the cat's eyes. I don't know.
Rickon too.
Yeah, Rickon wargs. Yep. And you think Rob did, because they talk about how him and his wolf were one in battle.
Exactly.
And then Jon does his wolf dreams. So they all have wolf dreams. Sansa's the only one that doesn't because she's a bitch. Got her wolf killed because she lied.
Yeah.
But
poor lady.
Yeah, poor lady. Pour one out for her. So the old gods, I think, it's the old gods in R'hllor, I think, are going to have the biggest effect on the books to come.
Yeah.
They have to. I mean, I guess the Drowned God might have something involved. The Rhoynar, I don't see as much. Any of those petty little Westerosi, kind of area ones like the sisters and the other areas that have like their own little gods. I don't see that becoming a major factor, but the old gods and R'hllor are huge parts of the next up and coming book. Has to be. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody want to start on a little bit of the history of the old gods? I mean, I kind of ran it quickly, but there's a little bit more to it than what I just said. The history, I think, has a lot to do with it. Oh, look at that. Riff Mangoes. That is awesome. Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you here in a while.
I'm thinking Jayne can do it because she had just watched a video about it, right?
Hey, you guys can, or I can. I don't mind. I thought
I don't remember that we know that much about them. I mean, we know they're nameless. We know that their connection to nature,
right,
in terms of the forest and the rocks and things like that. We know they were worshipped across the continent by the children of the forest, and then the first men somehow adopted that faith as well after they came to their pact, after their war with one another. And we know that the Andals invaded, brought their own religion, conquered much of the first men, except the North and the Iron Islands. And, many of those people then switched faiths, willingly or unwillingly, except the North.
Right.
And we know that they and people across the wall still worship the old gods. But beyond their connection to the weirwood trees and nature, I'm not sure we know that much about them.
Not really. Do we, do you have any, like, I have an idea that the old gods are really the spirits of green seers and children, people that were sacrificed to the weirwood trees. I believe it's more of a hive, man, like a hive. I don't know even how I'm trying to say it, but it's like a hive consciousness.
Like magic?
In a way, but the feeding of the weirwood trees, I believe, gave them their consciousness, gave the weirwood trees the ability to almost be alive, so that they see into the past, the future, and the present because of the blood sacrifice to them, the blood magic in a way. The children, I mean, look at the bones underneath in Bloodraven's cave. There had to be thousands of sacrifices there. And because of that blood, the essence of those people went into the trees. And that's how you're actually able to connect with the trees. You're actually connecting to like all these consciousness that have been added to the collective.
I'm thinking that, it ties into only death may pay for life, right? So they kill someone and that brings the tree to life in some way.
Mm-hmm.
As for Bloodraven's cave, what's above that cave? It's a massive tree.
Massive.
And they could have sacrificed all those people to keep that tree alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be like, since Bloodraven is pretty much hooked up to it, the tree functions as a conduit to the other trees.
Right. So, and that's a valid one. It is a conduit in a way. And they do say like once a weirwood tree sets root and it grows, it gets to a point where that thing, if unmolested, it will live forever. They don't think they die. Now, is that because of the spirit going through it?
Don't know, but if the spirits of people are in the trees, right? Or even the spirits of children of the forest, chopping them down or burning them would be a hell of a travesty in their eyes, right?
Right.
Because if you set one on fire, you're basically burning one or more people, in a sense, to death.
Right.
I don't know. That's probably what set them off, though, the chopping down of the trees.
Oh, it did. I mean, when the first men came over, it almost like they set upon the trees. Like they realized that they were being able. Well, I think it even says that in the lore that they figured out the children were seeing through the trees and watching them, spying on them. So they started to attack them. And what other way do you have but to chop the hell out of them, chop them down?
Yeah.
So I think once now you get to the pact, after generations of battle, you make a pact where men of Westeros gets everything except for the deep woods, but yet they start worshiping the trees that they've been, tearing apart for a millennia. I feel like there's more to that pact than we're going to know until this book comes out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna learn everything that is to learn in the upcoming Bran chapters, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has to be. They have to give us more information on this. But he's letting us in. We're starting to see when a weirwood dies, it almost petrifies right away, which usually takes over, tens of thousands of years to do. I might be wrong. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that sounds good. But petrification is quick with a weirwood tree. Some people believe that weirwood trees aren't even alive. They're actually dead. The only thing that feeds them to be alive is blood sacrifice.
Isn't that's what's happening to Bloodraven now? He's
right.
looking as petrified as the trees, really.
Exactly. And there's other And isn't there there's other seers, children of the forest, that are also linked into the roots? So, what is their plan? That's the crazy thing. What is the plan for the old gods?
To take back Westeros and wipe out humanity.
I believe that could be it. I mean, if you're a god of nature and man has come, man destroys, man wars, man affects the planet, planetos, you would want them to be gone.
And George Martin is very, very, very much about the climate.
Oh, he's such a hippie.
Oh yeah.
He is a hippie. And he's an old school hippie. So why wouldn't the trees fight back? Kind of in a token-esque way. So instead of actually coming up and walking like the Ents did, they fight back in a different, darker way.
Yeah.
So,
and nature is cruel and harsh and horrible, right?
mm-hmm.
I mean, all you have to do is look at how one animal eats another one. It's not a pretty sight.
Right. It's violent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, nature's elements are destructive too. Look what water can do. Look what fire can do. It's just, and it's almost like you have the ice. The ice side is the old gods.
Yep.
I feel like coming into this next book, we're going to learn more about these old gods. And I feel like they're going to be using Bran. I don't know, like he was in the show, like the Bran 2000, but I could see that if you're going to be downloading, which the new, Three-Eyed Crow would be downloading all that knowledge, it's going to affect you in some way. It's going to change you in ways that, there's going to just be so much information overload, I would think.
Maybe initially, but for the entire time though, I think that was the problem. It's like, okay, maybe briefly he's in this sort of weird phase where he's trying to sort his memories and these visions, but at some point he would level out.
I would hope so. I mean, Bloodraven doesn't remember names he was called. You know what I mean? But he remembers moments, I guess. Like, because when he does it, again, I don't think he's a Three-Eyed Crow. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I still don't think he is. I guess it was answered in book 5. I don't remember seeing the answer in book 5. I found that it was more confusing. When he meets him and he says, "Are you the Three-Eyed Crow?" He like sits there thinking about it. And he's like, I have been called a crow before, but he was talking about being a black brother, being a brother of the Night's Watch.
But it's possible he's being manipulated through some outside force too.
Yeah. So is he still
That's not the god, but something else?
Yeah, because he's a green seer, so he's not really in charge, is he?
No. Well, you're also, I mean, the tree is growing through him and out one of his eye sockets. I mean, to me, that could easily mean the tree is involved in his thinking.
Yeah, his mind is not rooted in reality; it's rooted in a tree.
Right. It's rooted in the tree. That was good. So Bran though will come back out of that cave, so he'll never actually be connected to the tree like Bloodraven is. So can he have more control? I think he will. But I also think they're going to use him they're using a 11-year-old boy, 9-year-old boy. They're going to use his innocence to further their cause and make him think he's doing the right thing. I just don't see them being the good guys.
I wonder if he would break through it though, because of his youth. I think we would see him just like we would see Jon break free from the North and Arya break free from the Faceless Men. And as much as they're connecting and drawing from these various sources and entities, it's like I think they have a larger role in the story that will allow them to act independently of these things that may have otherwise had a hold on them.
That's a valid point. In a way, this could be a story how the older generation just plays the Game of Thrones while the younger generation can break through it using powers from magical beings, gods, if you must,
Yeah.
and be able to control their own destiny.
I think that
Boom.
would be cool.
I do too. I think that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That's soaking in as we speak. Also, if you're out there in the chat, you have a question, put at Sporking so I know to pick up on that one. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. I guess a bunch of people aren't getting notifications because, YouTube's so scared of my growth. I'm just growing like a madman, and they're scared of me dominating the tube. So whatever.
They're unsubbing people too, apparently.
They do it all the time. They do it all the time.
I've gotten unsubbed from Mary Lethal Ord's Board and Supreme Heretic.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been Nerdrotic twice, Doomcock 3 times, Steven once. I mean, everybody, like almost everyone that I follow, I've been unsubbed. And it's not like I've been not watching their channel.
Mm-hmm.
Even that, they shouldn't do that. If someone subs to you, I don't care if they look at you for a year, they're your sub.
Right.
They clean house that's what they call it, cleaning house every few months. It's kind of funny how us people that talk about things, I know right now we're talking about Song of Ice and Fire, but we also talk about the woke Hollywood and this and that, how they'll unsub people from us. But some of these bigger powder puff snowflake channels never lose subs.
Mm-hmm.
Never hear them talk about it ever.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Back to A Song of Ice and Fire. We have a question. At Sporking, I had to resub several times. Arg, so stupid. To me, that's some bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. They fear the Sporking. I know. Teresa, I'm with you. I am a voice of, the next generation, even though I'm old.
You're a light in the darkness.
Yes. No one told him it was a train. All right, Tommy. Take care, buddy. Thank you for being here when you were. I appreciate everything, pal. There we go. Oh, what's up? How you doing, Latino? I shouldn't just say Latino, I guess. Latino Slant, how are you doing, my friend? Wokewood is right. And we do that every Saturday night here at Sporking News after the Rogue Entertainment show. We go on right after that and we bitch even more. So it's always a good time. But Monday nights are about A Song of Ice and Fire. Wednesday nights are too. And I love that. So let's get back to it. The Weirwood trees are the one religion I feel like George has been trying to make us look in one direction and not see the evil that it could be. I really do. Or maybe I'm looking into it too much, but there's so like the little things, like all the bones and just the weird tunnels. And where the fuck is Jojen?
Right.
Like, is Bran eating him to heighten his ability? That doesn't sound like a good religion to me.
Well, Jojen just got copied and pasted into the next room.
That is true, man. That is true. Now, are you guys proponents of Jojen, paste? Do you think that's what happened to him? I'm still kind of, oh God, I don't want to believe it.
I do.
If you look at the chapter, how it's written, Bran is outside looking at the night sky and it's storming and stuff.
Right.
And George keeps saying, the lightning slashed across the sky and stuff like that, and
a lot of a
lot of cutting and slashing and blood, kind of. So I'm thinking if they had filmed that scene,
right,
you'd get flashes of Jojen screaming and being slashed up.
Oh shit! In between like thunder and lightning, or it's being covered by the thunder. Now, okay, so that should be a valid point then. If it takes them killing a young boy that took Bran on a journey to get there, and what is his reward? Being turned into food so that the Green Seer can be more powerful.
It's a sacrifice. I mean,
it's literally food for thought.
It is.
It is, but it is a sacrifice. Go on with that, Jane.
No, I think that that's, I mean, we know that that's how religion and magic works in this world. So it may be Jojen knew going
Yeah,
forward what might happen or what he would have to do.
yeah, he was depressed
I was
for a
just about
while.
to say that when he got closer and got to the cave, he got very scared and very
Mhm.
depressed. Maybe he knew his end was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he saw it in a dream, I think.
Right. Then he might be one of the bravest characters in a Game of Thrones, in A Song of Ice and Fire.
right?
If he knew he was walking to his death, but he thought it was to save the world, that is one of the bravest acts we have seen yet.
I believe
Wow.
it.
Damn, Jojen. But don't you, I don't know. I would think Mira would be going off the hook, but maybe she's still searching for him in those tunnels. So do you think Bran may stay in the cave, but he might take Hodor out of the cave, warg Hodor, and use him as his vessel?
I don't think he's gonna. I'm not sure if he's gonna leave.
Physically leave the cave.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna let him leave.
I swear that I read somewhere George saying Bran will leave the cave at some point, but he never made it. You know, Bran could leave, but it doesn't have to be his body.
It could
I
be
mean,
he leaves by using Summer.
right. Summer, Hodor, an eagle. I mean, the dude could warg into anything. Right?
Yeah.
Summer would be an interesting choice.
Why do you think?
This whole concept of all of the children ending up in their wolves at the end,
Mm-hmm.
that could be one step towards that.
Right.
But I do feel he's going to leave the cave, though.
We do have precedents. The way he wrote the Red Wedding, when Rob dies, the last word he said was Grey Wind. And then it seemed that Grey Wind reacted, knew, like almost like he jumped into Grey Wind. And
the
then
last thing John said was Ghost.
it was Ghost.
Right.
You know, they parallel each other. George loves doing that. He loves paralleling, different characters, different age.
I'm pretty sure Arya is gonna die. And I
Mhm.
bet you she's gonna say Nymeria.
Right.
And that would be a perfect ending for her. That would be a bittersweet ending. But I think that's what she wants, what she would want.
She would want to be in Nymeria.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, she told her father that life isn't for me when he said a lady. So, why not be a wolf instead if you have that capability? And that is, once you're in the wolf long enough, you're no longer yourself. You kind of merge into the wolf. So,
And I
it
could
is
see that being the life that she would enjoy. She would
Yeah.
finally be happy
completely free.
and have
Roaming-
her pack behind her.
A huge pack. I believe that pack is going to have something to, not to jump off course, but that pack will have an effect on the battles to come.
Oh yeah.
I mean, George has been said in interviews, you don't write a super pack and not use it. So
Right. That's one of the things I hate about the show is that they didn't use them for whatever stupid reason. But we know there's precedent for that too in the books because we've heard about the stories of the Starks of old and, fighting with their wolves.
Right.
So I would love to see the wolves in a final battle. It would
Right.
be epic.
Yeah, totally. Oh, they were so hard to draw or, use special effects. We just couldn't get them right. You jerks. Now, finishing off with the old gods, we have the crypt at Winterfell. And the crypt, the lower you go, the older it is.
Right.
There's parts of it you can't get into. No, they haven't been able to get into. Deep down there, they say the spring is somewhere even deeper down. But when the battle comes, do you believe that the spirits of the kings of winter will rise? Or something about them will come back to fight in that last battle?
Kind of like Ragnarok when all the dead comes back to life to fight a final battle.
Sounds interesting.
All the heroes will return, fight one last time.
And they leave them swords, and they say to keep the angry spirits in. I think it's not just that. I think it's the iron is what can kill, whites. I mean, iron kills whites, maybe not White Walkers, but it's not to keep them in, it's to give them a weapon when they come out. And it also means do not trespass here because it's laid across their lap of the statue. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea.
I don't really see that happening, but it would be pretty cool to see it. But I don't think that'll happen though.
It would be cool though. Something about them,
I do
stone
think
giants.
Something about Winterfell because of how it's described, just as you were saying, all these different layers and it being rebuilt over and over again, and parts of it people haven't seen. There may be something in it, some mystical thing or power that may be unleashed.
Well, again, there always needs to be a Stark in Winterfell. And for what reason, we still don't know the reason. And it could be to be guarding something deep in the crypts that is needed to fight this enemy. We just don't know.
Didn't someone see Ned in the crypts when Ned was already dead?
Rickon. He had a dream that his father was in the crypts the day after he was executed, thousands of miles south. So no one knew he was dead yet, and he was down there with Shaggy Dog looking for him. To me, that's a premonition. Is he a Green Seer too? It's something. There's no other kid that gets premonitions. Well, let me take that back. Jon has a lot of dreams about the crypts. He always dreams that he's not supposed to be there. And they tell him that, you're not supposed to be here. You're not you're not one of us type thing. But he keeps going deeper into the crypts. I believe it all has a connection to the old gods. Someone's giving them those premonitions. Is it Blood Raven? Is it not? I don't know.
Yeah, so something's going on with the crypts. Absolutely. It's like a hot spot, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, Bran's third eye really opens up in the crypts. He goes down there in the darkness.
The story that there might be a dragon or something.
Dragon or a cache of dragon eggs. There's a story that the dragon's down there that heats the water, the hot spring. But there's also the story of the Targaryen that flew up there, and the dragon stayed down in the crypts or something to that effect. To
be fair, though, it's probably dead because the dragons have to eat.
We don't know. I mean, maybe it went into some type of weird state of hibernation. Do we know that there's not fish down there? I mean, there is springs. I know I'm making all that shit up, but I don't know.
I mean, you don't know.
You really don't know. Right. Is Winterfell built with magic like the Wall? That's a good question.
I think everything Bran the Builder is said to have built was built with some degree of magic.
Exactly. You have the Wall that has magic within it. You have that'll probably most likely just keep the White Walkers out. They'll have to find some way through. You have Storm's End that is impenetrable. I mean, it gets beat the hell out of by like hurricane winds and storms, and no one could get through it except for an Onion Knight. What was the other? The tower, the high tower is built on that black stone that is ancient. And it just, I mean, they say you can see the wall from the top of it. I don't know if that's true. And go ahead.
Probably not. It's probably just a saying, but it would be cool if they could. But
I believe the original part of the castle may have some type of magic in it. And if not, the crypts definitely have something that he built. He built the first keep over the crypts. And it just, to me, there might be something about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see when the show happens, or the the book comes out, because he has a lot of things to finish up when we get those books. So all of Westeros followed the old gods for a few thousand years, and then about 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, I would say, in Essos, in an area of Essos called Andalos, it was said that this god and his different aspects of himself walked among men, the Andals, and pretty much told them to conquer. The Andals were more advanced than the first men. The first men used bronze, the Andals used steel. When the Andals came across the narrow sea, they landed, I want to say they landed in the Erie first. And they fought with like the Eagle King, or the whatever king that was, took over the Erie and moved from there. They swept through the south of Westeros, cutting down weirwood trees everywhere they went.
Terrible.
Terrible. I mean, there's none south of the Neck, or, well, actually the Harrenhal area. Cut them all down, converted everyone, killed or converted everyone into the Faith of the Seven, except for the north, where they could not actually defeat the northern men because of the weather, because of the terrain, and they just stopped there. So only in the north, really, there is the old gods, and then anywhere south of that was really just the seven for the longest time.
Yeah.
So I don't have it up right now, so I'm going to try to do this from memory because my computer sucks. So the Faith of the Seven is one god with 7 aspects. You have the mother, the maiden, the crone. You have the warrior, the smith,
the father,
and the stranger.
And the stranger is death.
Is death, right?
Which is I picked up on when Melisandre said, "The Lord of Light raised me," and she had been in Lot 7 when she was sold as a slave. So I do believe she's dead and raised.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I never caught that. I think you might have brought that up before, but I never put it in that terms. Holy, you never put it that way. So,
So
you
she
think she's a
died.
fire white?
Yeah. She was dead. That explains why she doesn't eat, why the poison doesn't affect her,
Why she doesn't age,
why she doesn't sleep.
Oh,
It explains the dead shadow baby. You know?
That's crazy.
And it explains her complete devotion to the Lord of Light, because that's
right?
maybe, fire white.
Holy crap.
Same as Catelyn and possibly Daenerys.
I like the Daenerys one. There is more fire whites than we knew of, man.
Yeah.
He raised me, and she was in Lot 7. That is the stranger, and the stranger is death. That is crazy. Soon enough, my man. Soon enough, we believe he will be. So people will pray to the 7, but they usually pray to an aspect of the 7. The crone, like the crone for wisdom, the maid for virtue, the mother for, motherly things,
pregnancy and all that.
Yeah, fertility, things like that, watching over children. The smith for good work and good harvests, the warrior to be for battle, the father for, again, knowledge, I think, kind of.
Justice.
I know the crone, justice, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the stranger is death once again. Not many people pray to the stranger except the many-faced gods, who is an aspect of just death. That's over in Issa or in Bravos. It believes that all aspects of every god is really just one version of the many-faced god, and that's death. So they might have it. I kind of think they have it, but
it's a pretty dark take on it.
It really is.
All of the gods are death.
All the gods are death. no matter what you believe in these gods, they all are one thing, and the one thing you definitely will get from them is death.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's
So-
logical though when you put it that way.
Mm-hmm. It really is. The Seven has been involved in more of the politics of Westeros from the beginning since they've been there. They set up, they kind of set up Old Town with the High Towers and the Maesters. And that was kind of the gem of Westeros until the Targaryens got there. You know, that was the city of knowledge.
Here's the thing about Melisandre, right? She has, you know how Fire Whites or other, Beric and all those lose a bit of themselves all the time,
Right.
and Melisandre has like a little flashback in her chapter,
Mm-hmm.
and she hears a woman cry Melanie, and a man's voice says Lot 7. And then she was weeping, and her tears were flame, and she drank it in. Isn't that exact?
Damn.
That's what it says. It's from book 5.
And
Isn't
that's
that
her chapter, right? Her one POV.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens when Beric raises Catelyn.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, dude.
So both of them are Fire Whites.
Yeah.
It's the exact same process, seemingly.
Really, it is. I mean, it sounds like the resurrection of Beric, of Catelyn, kind of Dany. You know, I could see that. That's why you have a valid point. Poison doesn't affect her. You know,
Fire doesn't affect her, same as Beric.
right? She has such a not just a devotion, but such a one-track mind when it comes to finding whoever Azor Ahai's going to be her champion and defeating the other, the great other.
Yeah, she's obsessed with it. It's her only goal. Really, it's the only thing she thinks about. And Daenerys, right?
Mm-hmm.
After she survived that fire, I believe she didn't, because George Martin said that fire thing on the funeral pyre was a one-time thing, so she's not resistant to fire at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that one time.
Right.
So I think she died, and then she got raised, and after that, she's completely obsessed with her children and freeing slaves and taking back what is hers, which is what she was thinking about before it happened.
Right.
She had just lost a kid. So she keeps calling herself the mother of dragons, the mother of the slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Yeah. And she seems to not sleep a lot. Same as Melisandre, because she's always, her chapter starts with she's awake at night at a balcony or something.
Exactly. You're so right when it comes to that too. Like everybody else is sleeping and she's hanging out on the balcony and them looking up at the stars or something.
Yeah.
You rarely hear them having to wake her. It's only once in a while, but who's to say they don't sleep at all? That's nuts. Melisandre, you blew my mind with that one. We'll get back to R'hllor. Finish up the 7 real quick. So with the 7, you have the High Septon, who is in Old Town. And for a very long time, the Faith Militia was the arm of the 7. So it was really the Andals standing troops that kind of kept the realm in line, the different realms in line with the faith. Because there were so many different petty kings and lords and this and that before Aegon got there. Once Aegon got there, there was a lot of friction between the faith and the Targaryens. While Aegon was alive, it was a little different. because they believe in incest. Okay, the Targaryens. So Aegon married his sister wives, and what the High Septon did, and I'm doing this all from memory, so I might be wrong, but what the High Septon did was he locked himself away for 7 days and 7 nights. And when he came out, he accepted that Aegon was the new king of all the realm, and that they would kind of wash away his, his incest, which is like a heresy, having incest, but because of his old Valerian ways. But once he died, they started coming after the Targaryens. The next king was married to his sister, or their kid was married to the sister, and the Faith militia just started a rebellion pretty much. And it wasn't until the king died of I believe poison, but they say a stomach illness, that Maegor the Cruel came back, and Maegor was the part of Aegon that was the Fury. He had 2 sons. One was more of and what was his name? Oh God, I'm blanking on the other son's name. The one that became the king.
Can't remember.
But he was more of the political side of Aegon, and Maegor was his, fierce warrior side. So when Maegor came back, everyone thinks he's like the terrible, but I thought he was a genius. He just said, bring it, Faith. I'll take on any of you. And they had a battle of 7-on-7, which was, usually it's like when you have that battle of, God, I hate that I can't bring things up on my computer. When I choose, when you have like,
when you have someone fight on your behalf.
Yeah. I forget what it's called too. If anybody remembers, let me know. But when he fought, it was 7-on-7, and he was the last one standing. Everybody else died, and the High Septon had to bow down to that. And they kept, through the years, he disbanded, and had to fight some rebellions from them, but spanned the militia, and now they're finally coming back with the Sparrow. And I wonder, this High Septon they call the Sparrow, who he really is, because we don't know. He was just a roaming Septon preaching the word, and Cersei thought it was a great idea to raise him to High Septon, and he is going complete old school on their asses and pretty much bringing back true faith, because the faith became kind of what the Roman Catholic Church became. It wasn't really a faith-based pope. They were more like petty kings trying to, during the medieval times, trying to just expand their wealth. This is an old school religious guy who is following the 7 completely, and pretty much bringing down the lords and, ladies to their knees in Westeros. What will his effect be? What do you think?
I have a theory that if he succeeds, right, that will greatly benefit Prince Doran down in Dorne.
Right. You've brought that up before. Let me know. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's part of the Dorne plan to destabilize King's Landing and the Lannisters.
Okay.
That's what I think it is.
He could easily be.
Yeah, because he showed up at the right time, didn't he? Shortly after the Red Viper and all that.
Yep. No one knows who he is.
Right after Tywin passed away.
Right. After Tywin died, he entered the city. He was just feeding people, and people were following him, and he was preaching, like old school, brimstone type preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And Cersei thought, Cersei's like, she's a nutbag, and she thinks she knows what she thinks. She's like the female Tywin. She really effed up putting him in charge. He has gotten powerful.
Well, she thought that she could use them or manipulate people using the religion, not realizing that I think you're right. The Dorne they may be using the religion to sort of build the support base under the faith, and then the faith would turn around and back them. and all the people with it.
I wonder what his idea is on Aegon. You know what I mean? Now Aegon is now in Westeros. He's won some battles. He may even be in Storm's End. Will he back Aegon and not, the Lannisters, because he knows that the king is really not the son of Robert Baratheon. He believes that already. He's forcing Cersei to talk about it. She's still locked up in the book. Oh no, she just got freed. That's right.
Yeah, which was a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I see him backing a Targaryen, and that would work greatly with the Dornish plan, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah.
And I don't see the Lannisters, if anything, they're losing more and more support as their enemies grow in their various plots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Dorne supported the Targaryens before because they had Elia marry Rhaegar.
Right.
And then that got ended poorly. So Oriana Martell being married to Aegon, fake Aegon or whatever it is.
Right.
Would be a little bit of history repeating itself, which seems to be something George Martin is doing.
Exactly. And thank you to Tina. It's the trial by 7, a variant on the trial by combat.
Yes,
I could not remember the name of it. Thank you, Tina. And I do agree it's straight out of a CIA playbook.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a Mossad type thing. I don't know.
The NSA.
Yeah, NSA. Some, some vibe you get from them.
But we know how Dorne operates, though. That's what they do. They don't come out in the open and fight you, face to face on the battlefield. They're sneaky.
Michelle, Viserys in book 1 tells us about a Targaryen who got burned to death by his own dragon. Another one burned to death by drinking
wildfire. Yep.
Yeah, and then you have Viserys who burns to death when hot gold is poured on him. So the story is full of Targaryens burning to death, except Daenerys. And George Martin has said that was a one-time thing. She's not immune. She's not immune to fire at all. It's just that one time.
And he doesn't say why. So it could easily be that she died in the fire and came back as a fire wight, because 3 eggs, how could 3 eggs only be brought to life by one screaming, healing woman, and a dead Khal? You need 3.
Yeah, and the Khal was dead anyway, so he doesn't count.
Right.
And
there is blood in him, though, so he is a king. But I still think you need 3. So you had Dany, you had what's her name?
Baby.
Yeah, you had the baby. Not really, but you had Khal. So 3 die. She just gets brought back because the Lord of Light needs her to do something.
Yeah, like bring the dragons to Westeros and attack humanity.
Yep.
Or use dragons to melt the wall.
That too.
Fire melts ice, no?
Right.
But Miri Mazdur, right? When she was basically preaching her religion, it was almost like an offshot of the Red Priests. She was talking about shadows and flames herself. And when she's burning, she's chanting. What the hell is chanting? Is she casting a spell? Most likely.
Exactly.
That one didn't save her.
That's absolutely right. Was she chanting some? And don't forget, she's also connected to, who's going over to see her? The maester that Sam meets, Marwyn. She's connected to Marwyn from a Shai. They were in a Shai together, learning dark magic. So, and Qyburn. So well, maybe he wasn't in a Shai, but he has a connection to they all have a connection together. So who's to say this wasn't the plan the whole time, is hoping there was a way to get Dany to do something dramatic like this, because someone sent her visions the Quaithe sent her visions to make her think this might be the right thing to do. She just had a feeling she had to walk in the fire. It was her that had to walk in to birth her dragons. Well, that's a sacrifice. She had to die to be risen again.
Yeah, and another thing is Qyburn has learned dark magic in the Shire, right? Or rather, he's learned it from Morrowind.
Yes.
Miriam Mazdur has learned the same thing, right?
Yes. Well, hello.
Hey.
Hi, Christy.
What's up?
Nothing. I've been listening while I was working, and I was like, "Damn, this is a really good conversation."
Well, we're glad to have you, Christy. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
So glad you're here, buddy. It's not the same without you. So right now we're kind of in the middle of talking about the seven, but also jumping into R'hllor. We already talked about as you heard, the old gods. Do you have anything to throw in before we get back to Stig?
I just really I hope George finishes at least this book because
Lord,
I would really like to visit more of the religious aspect of the religions and find out what more, maybe there's more back history or something like that we haven't learned.
Right.
So here's hoping.
I agree with you. We have to learn more about the religions, have to have more to do with this. He's lining it up. And someone brought up, and I'm sorry if I forgot who said it, that you have the gods in the north starting to kick up a notch, R'hllor kicking up a notch. That might unite the faith of the seventh more than just what the Sparrow's doing, that they feel like they're under attack by these other gods, a foreign god and the northern god. Can we see an aspect of the seven that, because we have never really seen like a miracle from them or life other than just like people believing in them?
It's true.
I don't know, and
they seem to be politically motivated in their very origin.
Yes.
So I don't know, but we also have Euron who's playing this game with the gods as well.
Oh yeah.
So maybe he provokes all of them and the real one steps forward.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. I mean, he has all the faiths on his ship tied up, ready to sacrifice them all.
Right.
I mean, he's a psycho.
He's like going to war against all.
He's such a psycho. I love it. And Rennie, I don't know about I've been saying that too. I thought about that myself, Lady Stoneheart being the one that possibly brings back Jon, but she's so far away and Jon's already dead that I don't know she'll get up there. Like, he'd be dead for so long, because it's not like the show where you could just transport and you're like there the next day. That would take weeks for her to get up there. So it's a sacrifice that's going to bring him back.
I'm pretty sure which it is too. I think Melisandre and Selyse will sacrifice Shireen because she has King's blood to raise Jon Snow. I think that's where Shireen gets burned, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Jon sent away Mance's baby for that reason, and I think they're going to want to sacrifice the baby that's there, thinking it's Mance, and he's going to. People know it's not just Jon, and they're going to say, no, this is little Sam. Like, we did this on purpose, and that's why they're going to go for Shireen.
Yeah, sometimes in life, when things are bad, you need to sacrifice a baby. It's just how it is.
Jesus.
And if they're not going to sacrifice Shireen, they might sacrifice Selyse, the queen, because
both of them.
Well, I have a feeling Shireen's going to marry Edric Storm and bring back the Baratheon line, because he is a Baratheon. He's Robert's bastard. He'll take the name Baratheon, and I think somehow that's going to end up. I don't know. I have a weird feeling about that too, but I totally believe someone's getting burned at the stake. I know that much.
There's something in common though with the people who have been raised from the dead by the Lord of Lights. because it seems like Melisandre was raised by the Lord of Light too, because she says the Lord of Light raised me, right? It's right
Mhm.
there. And she was in Lot 7, which means the stranger, which means death. But when the Hound kills Beric, the blood was rushing out, and it was hot and black, and it was steaming,
Right.
Yeah.
right? That's pretty much
Mhm.
what happens when Melisandre gives birth to that shadow baby.
Right.
Like black, oily blood, and it was steaming.
Yeah,
And it's
she might
also,
be dead, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
yeah, and it's also the same. Seems to be the same fluid Qyburn was filling up Gregor Clegane with to turn him into Zombie Knight. Because that was black fluid too, and he might have learned it from Morwen, right?
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
So
You're
there's the fact that it's hot and black all 3 times seems to be a thing.
definitely a connection.
And the hot thing is pretty much could be like the flame of life they get inside them, because blood is life, right?
Right.
So it's just black blood. It's undead blood.
Right. Oh man. Well, think about it, because you get Cold Hands. He has the black fingers because the blood went to the fingers, and it's dead. So it's black.
Yeah.
It's black now. So I mean, right there, he's also with the gods, the old gods and the gods of the north. Even when they bring back someone who's dead, the blood might not be running through their body, but it's dead. It's black, and it's in the appendages. So that is I mean, that happens in real life. So that's a valid point, man. Oh my God, Melisandre's dead.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
She is
That'd be
dead. She doesn't feel the cold.
Right.
She doesn't sleep much. She never hardly ever eats. And
Poison doesn't kill her.
yeah, she drank the poison, but it's not getting into her system. Because her
Right.
system's not working.
And they want us to focus so much on the medallion, and that like on the Lord of Bones, when he's turned to look like Mance, you see the medallion. So he wants to trick you into thinking it's the medallion, but it's really that she's just a fire white. I like
Yeah.
that, man. I like
Well,
that a lot.
Do we also think that's the case with Varys?
I have a feeling about Varys is something.
Well,
He's
it could be because I believe Varys is Egg from the Duncan Egg stories.
Mm.
He's the only Targaryen who shaves his head. And he was all about the people of the realm. He was basically an SJW, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, which is what seems to be on Varys' mind.
And restoring the Targaryens.
Yeah, and does Varys ever sleep? Seems to be wide awake at every time of the day.
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's like an
He does
STD.
everything.
He's like
Like
an
an
STD.
Yeah. without a sexual organ.
Wow. I just like to say hello to everybody that's dropped in. I saw Orville Nation, DJ Odyssey, Bone, Toxic Man Flu still here. Rennie is here. We talked to her before. Great conversations going on in the chat. Zach Rott 315? What up? There's some other people that popped in. Adam Price, Memes of Destruction, Tina, so nice to see you. Always with great answers and great information. Nano Horizon. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. You guys all rock though. Thank you so much. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. It really will help out because a lot of people aren't getting the notifications. Thank you, YouTube. You rock.
Where's that one damn
Okay, let's
sweet
go
at?
on. Yeah, where is another monster might be working.
Yeah.
You said something.
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
Okay.
But shout out to another monster because he watches these later on. So shout out to him.
Does.
He's so great. The dude rocks. So All right, so let's end with the Faith of the Seventh here. Let's just finish them up because we got a lot to talk about. We're already talking about it, but we'll get into lore. Will the Sparrow be the end of Cersei? Will the Sparrow be a agent of Dorne? Will the Faith militia fight against the North? Will they fight against R'hllor? Like, there's so much. Will Old Town finally be something that we need to talk about? I mean, thank God Sam is in Old Town, so we'll find out more about it. But I mean, you have some weird connection between the Faith, the Maesters, and the Hightowers.
Mm.
And I just don't know what's going to happen there. You know, the Maesters are against. I mean, it's easy to see they're against the dragons.
And they
So-
would be.
Right.
They probably have more information about them
Oh God,
too,
yeah.
and maybe the magic behind them as well.
Well, isn't that why the what's his name? The one who was with Arya and gave her the coin.
Jack and Hagar.
Yeah, thank you. He's in Old Town and he was trying to get to a book. Could that be a book about dragons? I always assumed it would be something about killing or controlling dragons. Everybody wants them or wants them dead.
Maybe he's hired to kill literature. You know, Michelle Jolin in the chat says Melisandre was feeding on the life she sacrificed. Probably true, but
Yeah.
we know for a fact she was feeding off Stannis when she made those shadow babies, because she did it twice and said she couldn't do it again because his flame wasn't burning bright enough anymore. Right. So she had been feeding off his life force, because they call when they keep calling it the fire of life and flame of life and stuff, right? So she had been feeding off of his to make those shadow babies. So that bit is pretty much confirmed.
That also lends more credibility to R'hllor being a real god. If she can pull the life, if its followers can pull the life force from people, I mean, that's pretty powerful.
I'm pretty sure that's Bloodraven.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, because the Ragnarok thing.
Oh, right.
Lord of Trickery and Fire is Loki. He's chained up in a cave under a tree with a wolf.
Bound legs.
Yep.
So weird.
It's so weird.
It just fits too well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It always goes back to Ragnarok with us. It really does. There's so much in common. I don't know. I think the Sparrow won't make it through the next book, but I also think he will. I think he will be somewhat of the downfall of the Lannisters. He will have something to do with it. I think he will anoint Aegon king.
I can see that.
Me too.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I think almost that has to happen.
Right.
Oh, Aegon would be a younger sibling, wouldn't he? So he can choke Cersei.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious, but out of character, I think.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes in life you have to joke a bit.
Oh, snap. Well, he does have two good hands at least. And I think that's how he will. I think that's how he'll be known as king. The High Septon has to be the one that declares you the king. He's in at the Red Keep. He's in King's Landing. That would be a perfect setup for Aegon to become the king that we all believe at some point he will, for at least a short period.
And make things that much more difficult for Dany.
Exactly. Being anointed king by the Seven is a big thing. I mean, it's Aegon had to do it, the original Aegon. So
I mean, kings have to do it. I mean, that's in pretty much every culture. You have to have the religious entity do something with the political king figure, whether it's bless them or do something to give them credibility.
Right. It's definitely going to happen. Boom, there goes the 7.
Yeah.
Anything left on the 7, guys?
And the new king has to destroy them all.
Yes.
Or the new queen.
Yeah, she'll have to. She
Yeah.
will destroy them all.
Who was the Septon when the Targaryens were killed? Because I'm thinking there's something. The High Sparrow is someone from the past.
He could be. He has some history.
Yeah, because he shows up and he calls himself the High Sparrow. There's more to him than that, because everyone who shows up has ties to what's been going on before. So if he doesn't have that, he's the only one, right? So there's something about him, and it's important, and it probably has something to do with the previous dynasty.
Well, do we ever hear what he looks like? I don't remember a description of him. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. But could he be? They give up their last names. I mean, could he be a descendant of a Targaryen?
Wow.
The High Sparrow is also a bird, right? Varys' little birds.
Right.
Biggest.
But he could. I mean, he could be he could easily be he could be a Blackfire. We don't know.
He could be.
They give up their last names, so just like the Maesters do. I mean, Aemon up north. We didn't know he was Aemon Targaryen until he tells Jon that. And same with the Septons. They lose their last name when they become holy. So he could be related somehow to the Targaryen line. That's a good one there, Stig.
Yeah, I found the description. It says he's a small, thin, hard-eyed, gray-haired man with a heavily lined face. His feet are hard and horny, thick with callus. Unlike previous High Septons, he does not wear rich or elaborate crowns of crystals or spun gold. Instead, he wears a simple wool tunic that goes down to his ankles. He's a man truly devout to his faith and has an iron will. So heavily lined he's had a lot of worries, probably, right?
Right.
And gray-haired.
What did it say about the eyes?
The eyes, he has hard eyes.
So they don't give you a color, though.
No, but he's small.
Right.
And he's gray-haired, which gray hair means he's probably in his 60s or more.
And it's convenient that it's gray.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, what will silver do when it goes gray? That's interesting. I wonder.
And so someone there was one theory that it's Howland Reed, but he's not gray-haired because he's about Ned's age.
Right. He's only in his 30s.
Yeah, so I'm thinking he's small and thin, so that rules out a lot of them.
And Adam has a point too. Like, there's a lot of nobles that gave up their lands and titles to be in the Faith Militia. What happens to them when it gets to, where do their lands go when, if let's just say Dany destroys the whole faith, brings it down because of Aegon being anointed, and it becomes her lands, I guess, and whoever she wants to give it to. That'd be an easy way to get people on your side. Here's some new lands for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quote from him too. It says, "I seldom feel so close to God as when I'm being whipped for my own wickedness. Though my darkest sins are no wise near as black as his." It's talking about Loras or something. So he's done a lot of shitty things in the past, right? Something really dark. So that's a hint too.
Right.
And he's
He
punish
does tell
himself.
her, right? Doesn't he
He's
tell? I'm sorry.
yeah,
Doesn't he tell what's her name about his life? That could all be a sham up until that point where he starts
yeah,
thinking about punishing himself.
yeah. Well, he talks about it way more on the show, but
That's true.
yeah, that's probably something they wrote for the show.
Right.
But he is whipping himself for some really dark sins. So
Yeah.
he's probably punishing himself for something that went wrong or something he was to be, to be blamed for. And it was clearly something really damn dark he did. So
I like it.
there's some hints there, and I think we're gonna find out in book 6
Yeah.
because there's something about this guy, and it's he has a past, and I think it's tied to a lot of things.
Right.
Probably on the Targaryen side.
Hmm.
That's crazy, dude. Maybe Bloodraven knows him. You never know. I mean, he could either be an agent of Dorne or Bloodraven. You never know.
Yeah,
He's been
actually, he has nothing to do with, as far as I know, to do with the Martells. This is another quote. Doran is talking to Tyene Sand,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "The Sword and Stars have been reformed, and this new High Septon is not the puppet that the others were. Try and get close to him." So he's sending Tyene to get close to the High Septon, which is
So
his
it
arrow.
has right. So it doesn't have anything to do with Dorne, most likely.
Well, not the puppet that the others were.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a rogue puppet.
It could be, or it could be that he just wants someone right there, even though he does have control of him, to keep. Yeah, you're right. To keep tabs on him because he doesn't follow instructions as well as others.
He may have his own ambitions.
He might. Yep. There's so much not known about this guy. That's
That
so
gets-
awesome.
Yeah, that makes it that much more interesting.
It really does.
And he hates Stannis because Stannis has turned away from the Seven to worship a red demon,
Well,
he
yeah.
says. And his false faith has no place in the Seven Kingdoms. So he's not tied to R'hllor in any way.
Right. Man. I don't know. I really don't know.
Seems
The
like followers of
Targaryen-
the Seven are afraid of real power, though, because right now we're seeing R'hllor have actual power,
Right.
and of course
Mhm.
the old gods have power.
Mhm.
These people only have politics.
Exactly. That's why I was wondering, will we see the power of the Seventh in this book? Will there be any power of the Seven, or will the Seven just be that, a political tool?
Also, he refers to the faith Stannis is following, right, as a red demon. It's odd that he calls it a red demon. Could he be talking about Melisandre?
He could be. Might have some history with her. You never know.
Ah,
Yeah, because Martin keeps pointing out that she's red
Right.
all the time.
and the color of demon is kind of personal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, red demon. Not just like he doesn't talk about the old gods that way or anything. It's R'hllor he has something against.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Yes.
It really does. Like I didn't think we would talk that long about the Seven, but shit, you just don't know. Truthfully, like there's just so much that can happen in the next only 2 freaking books. Get them
I
done.
know. I just don't know how all of these dots are going to be connected.
I really don't either.
If they're going to
I was
Stop
looking
it.
up stuff about the Winds of Winter and all that the other day, and George Martin had said the combined length of the last 2 books would at least be 3,000 manuscript pages. So we're looking at some solid bricks.
Yeah, huh?
And
I'm
he
totally
said,
prepared for that.
I am too.
"Oh, I am too." Uh, he
Mhm.
said the Winds of Winter would be the biggest book yet, by quite a bit.
Whew. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you, it will be an event for me. Like
It will be. I
I
might
may
take
go on
some time
vacation
off.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. There might not be, YouTube might be down for me for like at least 2 weeks just
Oh,
to
yeah.
soak it all in. And then we're going chapter by chapter, not couple chapters. I'm talking one at a time
Yeah.
because there's going to be so much we're learning. I believe it.
Oh, when I get the book in my hand, I'm gonna, well, to pardon my English, I'm gonna fuck off from Twitter and YouTube till I read it.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
And friends and family. Like
Yeah.
everybody.
Peace out, people. Yeah, I like Michelle's talking about Aegon being the prince that was promised, or Azor Ahai. I would love to see.
I think it's Jamie,
Yeah, a lot of people do.
because Jamie keeps saving people, doesn't he? Savior, saved
Mhm.
King's Landing, saved Brienne. You know, probably others can't remember, but and he isn't the same person after he has that steam room thing with Brienne, because he
Right.
basically tells her all his sins and has a breakdown pretty much. And that's salt and smoke, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Reborn,
absolutely reborn
born in salt and smoke, and then after that,
in
Jamie is not the same person.
right in the water too, like in the water,
Yeah,
just almost like a baptism.
yeah,
You know, and when he goes back to save her, he sleeps with his head on a weirwood stump and has like visions and stuff. So, yeah, he could be. I don't know. Yeah, in the real world, 7 is a very common number. Um, uh, George
it's
thought of everything.
7 is also the IQ of the average SJW.
That is true. That is true. High Sparrow can start fresh with Fagon. When Danny actually defeats the others, he could take credit for it for the 7 and King. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's something going to be connection with that. I really think he will crown him now.
You know, George Martin said, and this was after book 5. He said, "There's a couple of more who will be sitting on the throne before the stories end." So,
yeah,
Tommen is toast.
Tommen is toast.
Poor
Oh,
Tommen.
definitely. Yeah.
Poor Tommen.
I hope they kill his kittens too.
Jesus, Steve.
That's terrible.
Nano Horizon, I kind of agree with this. I feel like the 7 were used as an excuse for the Andals to invade.
Probably.
That's how I feel George meant the 7.
Yeah.
To kind of go with the holy wars and stuff like that. Like it's the excuse for the Andals to come across the narrow sea and take over a land. I don't know if they're a real god is at work there.
I don't think so. I think that was pretty much the entire purpose. And how better to destroy a people than to destroy their religion.
Right. And you have Adam saying like he believes the sparrow is very pious. That will be there, like instead of actual magic, it's his belief in the religion, taking maybe the small folk, the faith militia, his other sparrows, everyone that'll be their magic, their power is their belief.
Yeah.
In
I
a way,
can see that definitely. And that's, I think, where his usefulness will come into play.
yeah,
The question is, how will he use that?
right.
Who will he bring these people to support and to what end? Because I think that people definitely will be behind him.
I do too.
That's why it's going to be important who he crowns.
Yep. They will follow that king to the bitter end.
Mm.
It might not be a long kingship, but they'll follow him. Yeah, I think the destruction of all religions is going to come at some point. But thank you, Orville Nation. I see everything you're posting. I appreciate it.
I think the old gods will survive
Yeah, I
because they're
think they're
still
the only
isolated
one.
in the north. You know,
Right.
the north isn't going to be affected by a lot of this
No,
unless they
even,
all die.
well, even farther north. Think about it. Farther north, there's going to be weirwood trees. You're not going to be able to destroy all of them.
Right.
So, at least I don't think so. All right, let's quickly move on to the Drowned God, because I really don't know how much they have to do with this, except for maybe the Euron stuff trying to raise a Kraken. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's cool that they survived. That they too, like the North, didn't succumb to the faith of the Seven.
Mm-hmm. And they were invaded. The Andals reached the Iron Islands and tried to take over their religion, and ended up, taking on the religion and throwing the septs into the sea, pretty much, in the septas, because it's a rowdy type of, religion. They liked it. So they believe in a drowned god, lives in below the sea. That is the reason why they're great, sailors and pirates, and they believe that he is protecting them, giving them good waves and good ocean, and their mortal enemy is the storm god, and they keep fighting, and the storm god's what destroys them and attacks them. They had a gray king who fought him for 1,000 years, the storm god, and then went back into sea to see his father. And every king since says, pretty much they're descendant of him. Their priests will anoint their people with water, and they recite what dies may never. Wait a minute. What is dead is truly never dead. Is that it?
What is dead may never die.
Right. And then they respond with, but rise. Shit. I really hate my computer. I can't remember everything. There's so much stuff up here, but will rise again stronger. I believe that's what it is. Some of the more devout will actually be drowned and then resuscitated. Euron is the type that has been mocking the drowned god since he was a kid. Actually pissed into the sea after his first murder, which was one of his brothers. But yet he is the one who has collected all these religious people for some type of sacrifice. And it's going to be at sea. So what would it else be but to raise maybe a Kraken? I don't know. I do too, Rennie. I want to see a freaking Kraken. That'd be dope.
That would be awesome.
Oh my God. Just this monstrous beast ripping apart anything in the sea and under his control. And then maybe he'll also have a dragon. That'd be insane. That'd be insane. I don't have a lot to say about the drowned god. The only thing I do want to say is that I believe there is power in the drowned god. And the thing that shows me that is Patchface. Patchface was lost at sea for a few days, dead. Pretty much he came back looking dead, yet is now prophetic and has these rhymes and riddles he says, but everything under the sea, type things, but they seem to be true and telling the future.
I have a feeling that they maybe have roots as wargs as well, and that's where some of this is coming from. But they wargs like sea creatures.
Well, there is mermen, I guess mermen in a way, and the deep ones, like they believe in the deep ones. There's like a whole thing about that, so they do have some magical ability, I believe, too.
But even this idea of a Kraken, like maybe one of their ancestors warged one.
Right.
And that's where that is sort of coming from.
It could be.
Maybe they're just cracking up.
Well, the Kraken idea is that the Great King defeated the storm. It's supposed to be the storm god's champion, which yet it's coming from the sea. So I still don't understand that one. But it was that Kraken Nagy. And then he took his bones and made his hall from that. And that's where they have the King's Moot. So God, man, I am full of useless Song of Ice and Fire stuff. I've read it so many times. So I don't know. I wonder about the magic of the Drowned God. I do think there's something, and we may see it in the next book.
I think so too, because this is another one of those sort of preamble religions.
Yes.
And I think those do have some truth, some magical aspect to it, whether it's, you know, the ability to warg, or whether it's just their connection to nature, because I mean, connection to the sea and sea life is also, you know, part of nature. So it's very similar. It's just they're more tied to the sea than the actual forest.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there is real power there. And I think that may be partly what's driving Euron crazy.
Right. Right.
Well, what if it's just an aspect of the same god?
Could be.
Could be. It could be. And can I just make a quick, he's finally here. The Swede, another monster just got here. Work does suck, my friend. But we were talking about you already. You'll have to go back and listen. Thank you for coming. Rennie had a great one.
I did not say bloody sweet all night.
No, he did not. He did not until now. Rennie had another one that I like. I don't think it's going to be Kraken versus Dragon. I think it's going to be a Dragon Kraken like team up, that if he gets control of one of the dragons. So that's a wrecking crew right there. You got air,
dragons,
land, and
krakens,
sea.
wolves.
Yeah, man. Oh, this book is going to be dope, I hope.
Kind of like that movie, Sharktopus. It's like a shark with tentacles.
Sharktopus. I like it.
Sharktopus.
Yeah, it's an actual movie.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. I'm going to have to watch that now. And there's Culture Casino, everybody. The voice of YouTube. Please, male voice of YouTube. Jayne is the voice. But he has one of the best voices in YouTube. So please subscribe to his channel. Does anybody have anything else with the Drowned God? Because it could mean something, but I just don't know what yet.
I don't think we're going to get too many answers about the gods, because
I agree.
think that's something George Martin will like to have people think about rather than fully understand, right?
I actually think he said in a interview, you'll never actually see the gods. You know, I'm more talking, will that religion have an effect on the next books? I believe Patchface's visions, at least his riddles, will still be involved in it. I just don't know how. And then something to do with, you know, the Crow's Eye. Other than that, I don't know. You know, or Aaron. Somehow Aaron will summon the Drowned God. I don't know. You know, he's being. You know, the one thing I say about Aaron is he is definitely going through that almost the Job aspect of a religion. He's been forsaken by his God. I think he even says that to some effect. And wouldn't it be kind of cool that the Drowned God comes up to protect him finally? I don't know.
And then there's Victarion as well.
Why do you think he's dead? What did you say, Jayne?
Victarion. And the obsession with both the Drowned God and R'hllor.
So much.
So who knows what happens when those two combine?
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy.
And again, you still have Euron, who's, like trying to bait all of them to see which one is real.
Yeah, I believe that too.
I really hope that he finds out. He doesn't find out that anything is real or have any proof until like when he's gonna die or something like that. But he finally finds out like what it is or who it is or whatever. But he's the only one that witnesses it or something like that. That would be cool.
It'll be his destruction. His destruction will be that. Well, he's arrogant. He wants to become a god, but he's also working for another god. And I don't know if that's the Great Other. I don't know if it's the old gods. I mean, we talked about his connection with Bloodraven, we believe, but he does say something to the effect of when it comes, well, what's it? You know what? He's working for somebody else. It could be all the fucking acid he's drinking, but whatever. The guy is tripping 24/7, but there's some aspect of what he's doing. He believes he will become a god, but I think he thinks he'll be the conduit for a god, a bigger god.
And maybe he will be.
He could be. That'd be dope as hell.
The Great Other?
He could be. You know, I don't know. I could see him being something Melisandre has to battle, even though she believes it's Bran and Bloodraven, but they could also be, I don't know. She asks to see the Great Other, and she sees, a weirwood tree and a boy with a wolf's body or some shit. So
that would be freaking cool, though.
Yeah. Like it actually walks on earth through him, because it would be really cool to see him try so hard to become a god and then be used by the god.
Right. And they would just top off. I mean, that would be perfect considering his arrogance.
Yes.
What if he becomes a vessel for Bran?
Oh,
or Bloodraven?
Snap.
Dang.
There is that connection.
And Euron uses the horn to control the dragon, so Bran inside the dragon, flying. Bran inside Euron, sitting on a dragon, flying. I don't know.
That's a cool idea.
Bit of a stretch, though.
Wow.
Very cool idea.
We got a lot of people in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Please like, sub, and subscribe or whatever. No, sub and subscribe are the same thing. Like, comment, and share. Well, you might have to subscribe twice because YouTube hates me. That is a interesting idea, Stig.
It can go in so many different directions.
We have come up with a lot of shit in this stream. I'm telling you, I've been thinking about a lot of different ways this can go.
It's because we sniff glue.
Yes. But that's at the very end of the stream, remember? We're not supposed to be doing that yet.
It's like an hourly thing we do after each stream. We sniff glue.
Oh, man. So now that is a cool aspect. I think thinking that he is going to become a god, now that would be kind of cool too, because now this god will have a vessel that has a Valyrian armor, and just that would be someone hard to kill. All right. Wow. That is cool. So now let's move on to R'hllor, our last one. We do have the Rhoynar, but that's Dorne, and there's not a lot of people that still follow it that we know of, but they are water magic, which is kind of interesting. And I don't know if that'll ever become part of the story more than it was in the past. They're water wizards and things like that. But because magic is coming back, that would be kind of cool if the water wizards can fight everybody that has fire with them and ice and all that shit. I mean, it's all the elements.
You're right. It is.
George, man.
Ice in the north, water in the south.
Yep. Fire everywhere else. The storm god. I mean, you got wind, you got it all.
Yeah.
That is cool. Yeah, we need some type of rock creature and we're all done. Stig, talk about R'hllor a little bit. You're like the master of R'hllor.
No, I'm not that.
You're R'hllor.
I think R'hllor used to be a god. But then I think Bloodraven is posing as R'hllor. Because when Melisandre is close to the wall, she feels more powerful. That's a hint. She's closer to Bloodraven. Right? So she's getting more of the power. And when she looks into the fire, she's looking for the Lord of Light, right? And she sees Bloodraven's face because uh, you see the birthmark.
Yeah, but I thought that was I thought she was looking for the great other and saw
Same.
Bran. Yeah, she's looking for the person she's
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah, but I think
but
the
they
red
might be
priest,
holistic.
no, the red priest's Arya is spying on. I think it was. Arya sees the same face,
Hmm.
and they're talking to the Lord of Light.
You never know, man. You also have the old god Anrelor in the face of the many-faced god temple. You know, you have those. They're all combined. Could they all be one god? We don't know. It could all be everybody's, like the many-faced god followers believe. Everybody's praying to the same god. It's just different aspects of that god. And the true god is just death.
Yeah, and the only god we see actually do something is R'hllor. And Melisandre was raised by the R'hllor, who is the stranger, who is death. Lot 7, right?
Right, Lot 7, man. That is crazy stuff right there. I do love that one. That is so awesome. She is a fire white. That would be so much better than her glamoring some old ass body.
Yeah.
You know? Like all
Well,
nasty old looking lady.
That could still be a thing.
It could be, but I'd rather her just be this beautiful fire white.
Oh, I think we all of us would prefer that version of her. Yeah.
You know? And the way she's able to take away another man's essence through sex is like, you know, that's a power. That is a power.
That's what succubuses do.
They do.
Yeah.
Which is demonic.
Right.
And then we have that thing that High Sparrow said. Stannis is now worshipping the red demon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree,
man.
Rennie.
Now-
I think maybe that is happening. Maybe that's what all of this really is at the end of the day.
I think they're the same person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, R'hllor is going against the great other, but could they be just two faces of the same god? Like, I just think you're right. There could all be one. I don't know, one
Many-faced
connection.
God.
Yeah, the many-faced god.
Well, we know what Melisandre thinks. That it's, R'hllor against the great other. But that just assumes whoever she's been giving visions from is telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not being duped. Like it looks like everyone's being duped.
Right.
Right.
I mean, look at Bran. It's not it's nothing good is happening in that cave. And like you said, Sporking, that Bran is being lied to.
No, definitely.
Yeah, so
He's being.
think
I mean,
Melisandre is too, because it's obvious that Stannis isn't Azor Ahai,
right.
and yet she believes it because she's been told that. So whoever's telling her that is lying.
Right.
Stannis is being used as a means to an end, and
Right.
I think that means to an end was to
Go north.
get rid of wildlings.
Yeah, and go north. Go north. You're
Yeah.
right. And don't forget, George, that's why George writes in that POV style through the eyes of the character telling that chapter. It's so that you see it as a young boy. He always sees like the purity of something. Like instead of seeing a brother sister banging it out, you know what I mean? He sees them wrestling. He doesn't realize they're having sex. You know, so like you're seeing it through this child's eyes. He's going to believe this tree wizard that he's fighting for good, when really he's probably just a vessel for somebody else.
Here's the thought. Stannis gets sent to the wall. He wipes out the wildlings, right? What does he do next? He attacks the Boltons. So presumably he's going to wipe them out.
Right.
He's just paving the way.
Opening it up, man.
Yeah. Removing resistance from north to south.
And while doing that, killing both sides. So there's less men to stop them.
Yeah. And who's telling him to do that? The Lord of Light.
Or whoever he is.
Yeah.
It could be, man. It could be.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
there could be two deities. I don't know, but it does sound better to be one in control of everything.
I feel like it's two, though.
It could be.
Tearing the world apart again.
Right. I mean, why would the one allow the long night to end if that's what his plan was? You know what I mean? So I believe there's two, but there's so many agents, we don't know who's working really for who.
Well, if you look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The story is called The Song of Ice and Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's pretty obvious that ice in this story is not a good thing.
Right.
Right? Because of the
Or
White
fire.
Walkers. That's not a good thing. So a song is harmony. It's fire and ice together. So if ice is evil, like we already know, then fire is as well.
Right.
And
so it's really
together.
the gods versus man.
Kind of,
it was man who stopped the long night, not another god. That could be, man. These gods playing with mankind.
But did it?
And like George says all the time. And George keeps saying all through the story that the gods are cruel.
Right, he does say that.
But the flaming sword thing, Azor Ahai, wasn't he? I would think he would be backed by R'hllor.
Right, but is he good? I mean, he kills his wife. He sacrifices his wife. He drives a freaking sword through her heart to turn it into flame. You know, like, is he good? I don't know. We're told he's good because that's how the story has been passed down. But like, stories change. You know, like
who started it?
Right. But it's
the
just
winner.
like,
the winner is telling the story, right?
Right. You're absolutely right. And what do we say? The winner tells, they write the history. But like, you think about how things have changed through the millennia. Winter is coming. That was a warning about the others, but it turned into a more of a warning of be prepared for enemies to attack you and winter's harsh. So be prepared. Like, it lost its meaning. So these stories can change.
Well, what about the castle itself? Winterfell.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've always found that fascinating.
Fell is just the name of the type of area, the geography.
Oh yeah, you told us that last week. I forgot about that.
It's like it's pretty much like Scotland. You have lakes and moors and hills.
Hush, Stig. Let me have my assumption.
It could be a double. Wait a minute. I'm going to try to do a double entendre, is it? Or whatever you say. Like, it could be a double meaning. It could mean the land, but it could also mean winter broke here. It fell here. This is where it stopped. The pact. We really don't know what happened with the pact. We don't know if, the pact was supposed to happen, but yet the White Walkers came after that. So the history is all messed up. I just think that Azor Ahai is not what we think he is. I don't think he's a hero. Now, the last hero might be a hero, but he's not exactly who Azor Ahai is. The last hero is the only one we hear that actually defeats the others. I don't remember hearing the finishing of Azor Ahai.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that the ice related religious things are necessarily the evil ones, because they were there first.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they not just maybe defending their territory.
Right, man. Destroys a lot.
Lot 7.
Lot 7, baby. I mean,
Yeah.
you are the hero of your own story. You know?
I'm the
I don't
hero of
know.
everyone's story. What?
You're the hero of your own story. Oh, yeah, you are. That's true. Mostly Swedish people's story.
They don't have a story.
Jesus.
And then you have the variations on the story in Essos too.
Yeah.
Tina has a good one, like in Neverending Story or in American Gods. Like they exist when the believers believe in them. You know, I think that's a cool concept too.
Yeah. That could also explain why the 7 aren't as powerful if they're believers only believe in them when it's convenient.
Right.
Because the North seems to be truly faithful to
Hell
those
yeah.
gods.
Like something said in front of a weirwood tree is binding.
Right.
Marriages happen in front of it, you know, sworn oaths. That's a big deal. But when it comes to the 7, prior to the Sparrow, it was more of a political game. Yes, the small folk might believe in it and pray to it, like Catelyn, the bitch she is, Stark. But you know, for their actual like devout air quotes followers, they're mostly, you know, dirtbags. They have been.
I'm not even sure the small folk really do. If we're comparing it to like Christianity,
Yeah,
they're probably like, maybe occasionally a weekend here or there they'll go
I was about to say
to the
that.
sept.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
I kind
seems
of agree with that.
right? Doesn't it seem like when people become devout, it's either for Northern, the old gods, or for R'hllor?
Mhm.
When it comes to the 7, it's not so much. They just pray when they're like in a foxhole, you know?
Yeah. When they need something.
When they need something, they pray to an aspect. The drow gods, they're pretty devout, though.
Yeah, they are. That's
Or
why
you have the fanatics.
True.
And that's also an old god, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But with the return of this, or the power of the Sparrow, we do have now fanatical believers in the 7.
But even they've always been very political too. I mean, these are people who've been challenging kings for some
true.
particular end. The fanatics seem to be even less truly religious to me.
I mean, you got lords though giving up their lands and stuff now. So I don't know. I don't know if they are fanatical though. You are absolutely right.
Because they're getting these lands from these people.
Right. They're just taking advantage of them.
They're getting more and more powerful.
You're right. Wow, man. Again, another one. I was like, God, I hope we could talk for at least an hour on this. We're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
One more thing I was going to bring up was that in terms of sacrifice, like they don't have human sacrifice, right?
The 7?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
But the others do.
Yes. Like, yeah, definitely. R'hllor, Drown God, and
so that's a
definitely,
level of devotion that's just on a different level entirely.
You're right. And yes, R'hllor came from Essos. That is interesting. Man, this was a good one, guys. I'm like trying to think of things before we stop because it just keeps popping in my head.
That's what she said.
Good God, that was dirty, Christy.
So my wife told me earlier that because I'm just reading this right here about the news flash. ABC is canceling, taking off the air, not showing again Wizard of Oz.
Why?
No.
Well, there's a lot of people that think it represents them and they're mad at it. People without a brain, a heart, or courage.
Wait, what? You're not serious.
No, not at all.
I was about to say.
Right? But they think they're talking about them. People without a brain, heart, or courage.
I literally just looked up Wizard of Oz just to make sure.
She came at me with that. She thought I'd be like all like no, and I was just like, yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I don't know. And she's like, no, it's because they characterize people with no brains, hearts, or courage. I was like, damn it, that was a good one.
Well, they're retarded.
Or they're just a Down syndrome Marilyn Monroe.
Oh man. All I know is let's just make it all stop, people, and let's start doing it. Just get involved in your state and local government. Take it over that way.
No, that requires actual work.
I know.
Yeah.
It's easier to smoke a joint and rip down a statue.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all this stuff that's going on. And I know we want to keep it light. But the same people who are gritching and complaining about it better be the same people that vote in November. That's all I'm saying.
They won't though. That's the whole thing. But they're not going to vote.
And that's the thing that is kind of disheartening. Is like if you believe in something, prove it. Like vote this person out. I mean, I don't know what you can do on this. Like run for office. Yeah.
Yep.
Become a cop.
Do stuff at your local and county level first. I mean, I don't know.
No, well, it's just like when they had the riots and stuff in Ferguson, and then the numbers started coming out that their voter turnout was like less than 5% or something. So it's like you're complaining about all these issues, and yet you're not voting.
Exactly.
What do you think is going to happen? Of course, people aren't going to listen to you. Of course, you're going to be taken advantage of. That's kind of how that works.
They're just throwing tantrums because the world doesn't do everything for them.
Everybody gets a trophy, people. Yeah. Everybody gets a trophy. Or a statue, I guess now. And they're mostly my friends because I live in a blue state. What are you going to do?
But yeah, tear down a statue that hasn't done anything to you. I mean, that's not...
Well, you would assume that they have any kind of knowledge, though, when you say that, because they don't.
Right. But I do get.
All they do is a quick Google check, and then they don't.
Right. Well, civics isn't taught anymore, too.
No, it isn't. And I understand the 20s, the 60s, those statues coming up to try to keep people down and try to throw it in their face about Confederacy. I understand that. I really do. But when you start tearing down statues bought by free slaves to thank, Lincoln or, abolitionists or, people like that, that's what aggravates me.
But history isn't taught. And that's part of the problem is people don't know anything. That's why I said the solution is to add more information to the statues, not tear them down. Add, put a bigger plaque. Yep. Tell the whole story about who this person was or what they did. But you have people now tearing down stuff they don't even know. They don't know what it is. It's just a statue. So
looks like a white guy.
Yeah.
It must come down. This is how every communist revolution has started.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I've been saying that and people are calling me crazy. This is a Marxist move like you don't even know.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't sort of buy that is I don't see the country as a whole going in that direction. I think this is a minority. I don't think they would get any more traction.
Oh no, but they're still trying. That's the thing. They're still trying that move.
Well, they're going to try it always. I mean, as long as there's civilization, you'll have people who would try it.
Right. Because it always works out everywhere it is. Come on.
Have you seen the Purge movies? What?
But you have to have government do that. This is just a small groups of people doing it. It would be different if the president was like, you know what? This is what we're going to start doing. We're going to start tearing down statues. When the president starts doing it, then you have a problem.
Yeah, then
that's how it starts, though. When there's a government in place, like what was going on in South America, a government is in place. People didn't like them; they felt oppressed. Then they were like, "Yes, we can do this. We can get this going." But then it's the same people that overthrew the old government, basically did the same thing And it's just a cycle and a cycle and cycle. So I get where you're. Dang it! This is the wrong chat for this.
I know. I know.
But it's just, you have to be careful because we say it now that it's just a minor. Calling it a minor thing is not what it is.
You know why I don't say it's minor? Because there's too many governors, too many local politicians that are allowing it to happen. That's what scares me.
They're doing it. They're doing it because they're afraid of being canceled.
Exactly. Stop being a.
But even in those cities run by those governors, they know it's like however many people are doing it, that's how many people are doing it.
Well,
it's not the majority of their cities.
It's also a progressive tactic to allow them to throw the tantrum and let them burn it out. I mean, that is a tactic. Unlike more of a conservative, like you do something wrong, we're dropping the hammer on you. So this is why they're allowing it to happen. And when you have the media that kind of thinks, oh, these are our people doing it because it's this left side, that they kind of baby them in and allow it to keep going. That's why it's perpetually growing.
But I think that's part of the point, though. Let it die out because they're going to get tired. They're not committed to this. Let them, let their little garden fail or whatever it is they're trying to do. At some point when the media has moved on, because people have a very short attention span,
right?
They're going to go home. And
they're already leaving Chaz.
Right. To me, that's better than provoking them by attack. Because if you start attacking them, especially if you're using the military to attack them, you're going to get much more support from people who don't believe in their movement, but who don't believe in government attacking its citizens. Because that opens up a whole different conversation.
You didn't see that shit happen in Texas or Louisiana as much, did you, Jayne?
Well, and I talked about that. Louisiana is a very different culture anyway. Like, people here are not inclined to do anything. Like, we tried around the time when everybody, all these states were seceding from the Union, we tried to have our own country. It lasted a week.
Oh, wow.
Like, we're not good at it. We're not that kind of people. So it wouldn't have worked. And it's too hot. We're not going to get out there and protest that long.
All right. We're ending it with that. This is a lighthearted one, but we ended because you know what? Society's crazy right now. And Fatal J showed up, so it's time to call it quits. Fatal. I love him. Thank you for stopping by.
If you bring him on, we'll be the Fatal Five.
The Fatal Five. I was just about to bust out into some Michael Jackson, but I'm going to stop. Fatal, you are the man. Guys, thank you so much. This is such an awesome chat we have on Monday and Wednesday nights. It's like, yes, we get about 10 to 20 people, but you guys are dedicated, and I freaking love you all for that. So we're going to start with Christy. Where can they find you, buddy?
Well, I'm looking at in the description, and my channel's down below. Everything's down below. So just click on that link right there.
There you go. I do put your guys' description or in the description. I use the same one. I feel bad
about promoting myself, but I'm just like, yeah, everything. The links are down below. But Jayne is like, hi guys, you can reach me at Jayne Theory on YouTube, on Instagram.
You know why You know why that's the difference is you're monetized and we're not. So
I'm
we're
not
still.
monetized.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Goddamn YouTube.
They took away a shit ton of hours.
Yeah, they took your hours. That was crazy.
Yeah. I have 1,100 to go now.
Really?
And you never figured out why they did that?
Nope.
Everybody go play her playlist. Watch her videos, please.
You know what? Y'all can downvote the damn videos. I don't care.
Wait a minute. How many
but
hours?
I almost was that part of the issue though, that they didn't count those hours? Because people were doing that.
I have no idea.
I'm blown away. How many hours?
I lost a little over 1,100.
Holy crap.
Insane.
Yep.
That's nuts, dude.
And what I'm trying to do is I was going to plan on doing like 4 live streams this week, or do like kind of like a DJ did for like 48 hours. I'm like,
48
I don't
hours.
know if I can do that.
DJ's a wild man. I don't know how he
I
did
know.
that. That's
I say go
unhealthy.
for it. It could be fun.
Yeah. Even if you just have guests on and you go take a nap for like 3 hours
Yeah.
and let them run it.
People
You
would
know?
do it. I would jump on.
We'll see. It might be I might be do a 10-hour thing or 12 hours, because I've done a 12-hour live stream with the rookie critic,
Yeah.
and he ended up falling asleep on stream.
I love these guys though. We revived her interest in Game of Thrones. I love that.
Yay.
Thank
Another
you.
monster. Thank you guys. That means so much. Jayne, give him the one she's talking about. Give him that you're out. Give us your out.
Oh, well, guys, you can find me here on YouTube, where I post weekly movie and television reviews every Sunday at 6 Central, as well as some occasional pop culture news and commentary. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jayne Theory.
Thank you, James. That's how it's done. And then I love Stig's. Stig, give him your go-to.
Tiny channel, almost nothing on it. I'm on Christie's channel and Lorena's channel and this one and other places.
Mhm.
That's right.
That's
Do
it.
you ever Lorena Sunday one?
Yeah, I did one yesterday.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
was that her Game of Thrones one?
No, she
What-
does
what
the Game of
Florida?
Thrones, one
Okay,
every-
that was Florida. So Game of Thrones on Lorena this Sunday.
It
Yeah,
should be this Sunday.
Okay.
season 3.
So check out Lorena Creole. She has a newer channel. She does we're on season 3 on Sunday's panel. You'll have to subscribe to her because I can't remember the time
Yeah.
exactly.
And leave me alone on Twitter, okay?
Yeah, he hates you people.
Yeah.
And I'm Sporky News Podcast. Thank you guys. I really mean it when I say I love you guys. You guys are the best chat. I love this panel. We have a lot of fun. Let's do it again on Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. And remember, tell them, Christy.
I'm